Trump was in Philadelphia at SneakerCon. Why? He was unveiling his own sneaker line, Trump sneakers, including this gold-colored, it's called the Never Surrender high top sneaker. And on that website, which is selling those sneakers, apparently it's sold out. It was selling for $399. Your thoughts?
Well, look, at one level, he wants to monetize whatever he can, and he wants to make money out of what's going on, even if it's costing him money in the courts. It's also, though, part of the kind of MAGA swag that has been essential to his campaign and to creating kind of movement or fandom that makes his campaign different from many others. Buy the sneaker, buy the hat, and it creates a form of attachment to him that other candidates actually can't replicate very easily.
Do you think he's going to rely a lot on his supporters to help raise money for him to pay some of these penalties and legal fees that are ahead as well?
He'll try to get the money however he can. We're talking about significant amounts, and simply politically, it is going to be a challenge. So yes, the solicitations will continue, and smaller solicitations have been very important to him last time, and now even more because of his own troubles.
You know, you wrote an interesting piece titled How America Became Immune to Scandal, and that's what we're really seeing, right? Especially with Trump's civil and criminal trials playing out. It really just bolsters and reinvigorates his supporters. Why is that? Why have at least so many of his supporters become so resistant to Trump's scandals?
Some of it's just broader, that scandals have diminished in terms of their impact in a country that's more polarized, where trust of government is very low. Scandals are something people watch, but they don't necessarily have much of a political impact. We've become numb in some ways to one scandal after the other. And with Trump himself, he has found ways to turn the scandal into something of political value, to actually define himself around constantly being attacked. So those things are all converging with, again, support for him, where the supporters are very loyal. And regardless of what happens to him or what he is found to have done, their support for him only gets stronger.
And Nikki Haley is in South Carolina campaigning there ahead of the February 24th primary. And this, among some of the criticism, this is what she had to say about Trump.
He's siding with a dictator who kills his political opponents. Now we know Navalny is another one that he has killed. Why isn't Trump saying anything about it? He had a lot to say in Conway, but what does he say about Navalny now?
I mean, why has Trump remained silent? I guess Nikki Haley is previewing, you know, what a second Trump presidency would look like. And of course, it would only embolden Putin and his ambitions.
Well, I think what she is hinting at or saying very directly is he is not going to have an adversarial position toward Russia. She's arguing he didn't during his first term. And more broadly, his America First platform is about withdrawing U.S. support from many parts of the world, including Ukraine. And so I think she's trying to draw a very clear policy distinction between her generation of Republicans, or her cohort of Republicans, and the America First Trumpers, who have really dictated the tone of the debate recently on Capitol Hill.
You know, President Biden said he had a call with Zelensky on Saturday, and he reiterated his support for Ukraine and said he's quote unquote confident that the foreign aid for Ukraine will come. Of course, it's coming on the heels of losing that key town on the Eastern Front by Ukraine to Russia. What is going to come of this Ukraine aid when there's so much political dysfunction, and the Speaker of the House has said very explicitly that he will not put that bill, that bipartisan bill passed by the Senate, to the floor for a vote?
I don't know. The administration is going to try to make some kind of deal to get it through. Even if it gets through this time, though, the sense of commitment is much weaker than it's been, and no one knows what happens next.
And that is the concerning thing, at least for Ukrainian officials. Julian Zelizer, thank you very much. Good to see you.